All right, let's dedicate the Niguni and the learning. Did any of you know Mr. Pomeranz, Olav Shalom? Yeah, this Kavura is in a few hours, so this is a Nigun. He actually, who? Tomorrow on Shabbos? And my grandfather's Yortzeit on Shabbos. Chaim Yitzchak Menachem Yisrael, a Kohen. Mr. Pomeranz, Michal had me, it's interesting, he had me compose a nigun in memory of Eli Wiesel. Crazy story. Actually, you know what, I'll send a link out to everyone. I'll send a link out explaining the whole story because he was working on some project, a beautiful project. But anyway, I just was listening to it yesterday. So this is the nigun. Bam bam da 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 da. Ay da 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 da. Oh yo yo. Da 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 da. yeah. So I want us to have him in mind. He was Pomeranz was a very, very, very big mamin, very big. Hey, you know Mr. Pomeranz? Yes. So he was a. Eli, I'm sure you know him. He was a real mamin. He really believed in Hashem. Really believed in God. David, did you know him, Mr. Pomeranz? Yeah. David, you know him, yeah? Chaim, you got to meet him over the years? Not yet. Yeah, he was a very, 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 very special yid, and he almost came with us to Uman this last time we went, Kimat, remember? And he couldn't make, his health, Jerry was working with him to try to get him to, it's like a crazy story. Jerry was also very close to him. And he couldn't make it. But I think he gave us each a gift, right?
He gave us some books.
He gave each person a book on the trip. Just echpatiyut. He really cared. He was a sincere yid that cared and was a mamin and loved Am Yisrael and loved the zchut of living in this time, of coming back to Eretz Yisrael and building Eretz Yisrael. And he's an iconic figure of the streets of Yerushalayim for many years, and he's helped us get a lot of the different svarim over the years as well. What's that? Yeah, that's him. Yeah. Him and his boys, they helped us get, Yisrael was working with them a number of times to try to get certain svarim. So, and he's being laid to rest in like 2 hours. So I want this to be Leilui Nishmas. So we're in the middle. We're going to finish today, very short but important perek, very important perek, perek Hey. And I was so happy that Josh Baron chimed in this week in the chat, saying, you know, what we learned last week about, and it was so true, about less gluttony, or not reaching gluttony, and just pulling back from that extra, even though it's mutter, having an extra l'chaim, pulling back from that extra one, from that less piece of flesh or challah, pulling back from just one of them, because the bigger picture is having more energy to use Shabbos for Shabbos. So a lot of people, if they approach Shabbos, they're like, this is the day. All week long, like, you know, what's the slogan? Work hard? Yeah, that's not a Jewish slogan. What would be like the slogan based on last week's shiur?
Work hard, no.
No, work hard. Right? No. So Stephen came up with the slogan: "Work hard, Shabbos hard."
It was actually you came up with it.
No.
You said it during shiur. I just pulled it off.
Right. Then the first Shabbos we came to shul. He comes up to me with the whole thing written. Work hard, Shabbos hard. So what is Shabbos hard?
Shabbos hard.
So for some people we said Shabbos hard is like, okay, flesh hard. That's the Shabbos hard, right? But we saw last week that amazing theme from the Ben Ish Chai, then going to the Zohar HaKadosh. The Ben Ish Chai says 1 hour of learning on Shabbos is equivalent to 1,000 hours of learning during the week. If that's the case, more learning. Then we said, with the Zohar HaKadosh says, wait, 1 hour of learning Pnimius, like Zohar is like 1,000 hours of learning Nigla. Okay, so what does that mean? 1 hour of learning Nister on Shabbos is like, well, he said like, what did he say, million or thousands of thousands? Yeah. Ein Sof. So then we came to the conclusion, wait a second, many of us, we have little kids, and even those don't have little kids, we're not living in the times where, you know, Shabbos was really like, you say hello to your wife maybe for 20 minutes, and then the rest of the time you're by the Rebbe and you're shuckling in shul. So it's not like that. But what could it be? Me'at, a little bit. Whatever that little bit is that you hold back from things that aren't necessary, and you give in to things that open up the horizons, it's a different Shabbos. I want to say, last Shabbos, I actually had it. Last Shabbos, it was like just a few less spoons of something, or a few whatever it was. And yeah, it wasn't, I don't think I said I added another hour of learning, but even that 20, listen, if 1 hour is like 1,000 hours, then a minute, you're doing pretty good. A minute's like 1,000 minutes, I'll take that. So whatever it is, on whatever level we can, it changes our zone of what Shabbos is. And that was what we were basically saying last week. Did I leave anything out? Does anyone want to say anything else?
This is that on Shabbos, not
Shabbos. No,
We're in Shabbos.
we've had Ma'amar, and we've had different discourses here talking about the avoda of erev Shabbos. The way we saw it was Shabbos. Now he said there could be some hachanot you can do before Shabbos, so that on Shabbos you really have the space to zone into what's important and what's not important. And he's going to go back to that at the end of this piece as well.
Also the opening line about learning in Chatzot. That was like wild.
Remember that? Yeah, that made me feel really bad, actually. But it's true. Yeah. שמעתי פעם מהרב החשוב, רבי נחום יצחק פרנק, in the name of the Chazon Ish, לקום בליל שבת אחר חצות ולעסוק בתורה, יש בו נעימות ועונג כה גדול. If you wake up chatzot and then the rest of the night till the morning you're just davening and you're learning, is a נעימות ועונג כה גדול. There's such pleasantness and pleasure. עד כדי כך שאם נוכרי היה מרגיש בטעם הנפלא הזה, that was the line. עד שנוכרי, thank you for... עד כדי כך שאם נוכרי היה מרגיש בטעם הנפלא הזה, היה מתגייר. That if a non-Jew would really taste a little bit of what that pleasure is of getting up chatzot and learning the rest of the morning he would have no chance. He would have to convert. We would have to convert too, you know. We would have to choose conversion. Okay.
I think we should bring it until Chatzot Halayla.
Nachon. We did. Okay. So now we're on Daf Nun Bet. Short. You'll see just a little bit more. Ayem Bakuzari, I love when he does this because, you know, this Rebbe who's Breslov, he's quoting Chazon Ish, Chafetz Chaim, the Kuzari, Baal Shem Tov, Arizal. This is Kol HaTorah Kula. It's everyone's Torah. So you know that there's an inyan of saying 100 brachas a day. Obviously, you know where it comes from, right? With David HaMelech. Yeah, so it's not. I don't want to get into it right now, but you know it's a very big inyan. And Rav Yaakov Meir Shechter actually has a whole sefer. I think it's called Hamevarach Yisbarach, and it's all about, you have it? Jerry and I learned it once. We were beginning to learn it during COVID. It's about the inyan, the pnimius of why did Chazal, what's the thing of why we say 100 different brachas a day. Now, it comes down in many different places. We're not going to go into the sugya, but he's going to, for a reference, this is where he quotes from the Kuzari. Ayem Bakuzari Ma'amar Gimel, shekatav beinyan hashlamat 100 brachot b'Shabbat v'zeh l'shana. There's a little bit of a confusing lashon. והאהבה והיראה מאין ספק נכנסות בנפש עם אלה העניינים ומשוערים בשיעור תורה, חוקי חוק התורה, כדי שלא תביא השמחה בשבתות וימים טובים אל מה שמביא אל השחוק והתאווה והבטלה ולהימנע מהתפילות בעיתם כראוי. Okay. The greatest reference that I could think of in order to explain what he may be talking about on a conscious level is where a Jew reaches on a subconscious level on Purim. Let me ask you guys, this is the acid test. How was your Maariv this last year, Motzei Purim? Do any of you even remember your Maariv on Motzei Purim?
It was the bells.
Huh? So you remember?
It's nice.
I remember where it was. I don't remember the number.
Right. That's one?
This is the first one I actually do remember.
Because you had to, right? We spoke about it. Because you're in Avelus, you had to lead,
Yeah.
right? It was the first Motzei
decade.
Maariv Purim you remember, right? Now, why? Obviously, why? Because where are we going? Why is it an inyan, of course, to daven mincha before Seudah? Obviously, we know where we're holding and we know where we're heading to. Now, B'diuk. So now this is the thing. What can happen to a person when they're tuning into ahava and yira, love and awe, in a holy way? What's the sakana that can happen to a person like that? What is the danger? Even though it's essential. Even though, what do we mean? I have to go to love and awe, right? But the love and awe sometimes can bring me to a place of just what he's talking about. Oneg Shabbos. Shabbos. It's oneg. L'chaim. Shabbos. Oneg. Chaim, Shabbos, good Shabbos, l'chaim, l'chaim. Abba, it's time to bench. Can you wake up, please? Right? Honey, it's mincha. So, our concept, right? No one knows what I'm talking about. Our concept, our understanding of like this, of our relation, a Yiddish relationship with oineg, with pleasure, With aha, with yira, it's a, v'hivdilanu min ha'tayim. We have an Inyan. Our Inyan is different. Our Inyan is different of how we relate to l'chaim. When I was in Mexico, there was a guy there. I'll never forget this. He was not Mexican Urkel. This is a different guy. He was, every time we said l'chaim, he saw that Jews were taking glasses and going up. And he would get up and scream something out there, saludo! And saludo means, I think, cheers, right?
Yeah.
So then he said a whole thing. And I was like, I didn't know what he was saying. Right? Every time it was l'chaim. The way Yid has oneg, has simcha. Now also has love and yira is very different. Now with love? This is a very interesting thing. What is it the Kuzari is saying over here? That even love and yira has to be in shiurim. Because what can love, if love doesn't have a certain type of boundary, what could love lead you to? The same place we were talking about, Ke'ilu, Motzei Purim. What about yira? If yira doesn't have a certain shear, where can yira lead you to? Easily, depression. Or it can be like the gateway for all the sfekas to come inside and like lechasel otcha, tagamu.
The Yaakov Avinu. We need to have the Yaakov Avinu. Not Abraham, not Yitzchak, but Yaakov. It needs to be the combination of 1 and 2.
Yeah, we're called Bnei Yisrael. That's where we're at. So listen to what he says. Davar ze tzarich biur. He's basically gonna now. We gave a little akdama to what he's gonna bring in. Davar ze tzarich biur. Darei ahava v'yira hem ad klos hanefesh. Ma kavana shehem b'shuarim b'shiur. These topics, these concepts of love and awe, these are things that reach the core of our soul. What does it mean that they have to be, so to speak, in measurements? What does that mean, right? The explanation is like this. It's amazing. Just when we think we beat him, her, the Yetzer Hara, whatever you want to call it, it always comes back in another ofan. Like someone gave a great mashal. What's the Yetzer Hara's name? If we have to give him a name? Kenny. Right. Kenny gets killed at the end of every episode. And then he shows up again the next, right? And he's back again. What's going on over here?
That's South Park.
I just wanted not to sound frum. It wasn't my era, so I never watched, I never saw it, but apparently, did I get it right?
Yeah.
He gets killed? Does he die so in our minds, it's like, oh, we got it. Then he's like, Meitzitz ben acharaka. I'm back, next episode. So the Yetzer Hara is going to try through everything, even through things that Kiviyachol are Kedusha, to come in and start messing with us. והביר בזה, דהנה יצר הרע מסובב ומעוות דעת האדם בכל מיני אופנים. לדוגמה, כשאדם שמח בשמחה עצמה בשבס קודש, how could the Yetzer Hara come in? I'm בשמחת Shabbos. Where's the Yetzer Hara going to come in? ושר ומזמר ורוקד מאהבתו את השם. I'm singing, I'm dancing, Hashem יזברך, thank you Hashem, good Shabbos. יכול הבעל דבר למצוא עצה להכניסו לקלוס ראש. The Baal Eitzah can come and say, hey, I'm going to give you an Eitzah. Kalus Rosh, meaning, you know what, this is the way to be. Don't take life too seriously. Keep on going on this mahalach. Now, I just want to say, this can happen even shul. Friday night dancing can be so high, can be so gewalt. And Kalus Rosh, people just, like, honestly, I would just have you, if I had I would put a sign, there'll be one designated rhythm keeper during the dancing, right? And just have you keep on the one, because even the drum circle could happen around the bima. What's wrong with it? It's gewalt. It's beautiful. But the Yetzer Hara can come in and say with dancing also. Remember, you know how hard we try to get back to serious davening between the end of Lech Hadodi to Mizmor Shir. What happened over there? What happened is Kalas, no one means anything bad. It's not a miskavan. It's not no one is doing this on purpose. But it can come in right then and there. So it's Yetzer Hara, like the Kotzker Rebbe said, Esav wore a shtreimel. We always say this. You have to remember, the Yetzer Hara that looks like Yetzer Hara is pretty easy to beat. Esav wore a shtreimel, meaning it's dafka the things like the simcha of Shabbos, are things that look really where it can come in and snap in like l'chaim's when it's mutar. Right? Hold on a second. I just appointed you, by the way. Tom. It's official.
Don't worry, I won't drum it up again. Just a one.
You do it?
I did it last week.
No one means bad. I've done it too. I've done it too. I just get, I wait and then he comes and I can dance. וצריך זהירות גדולה בזה, שמתוך ההתלהבות בשמחה, לא ישכח למשל את תפילת המנחה של שבס קודש. It's great. You had a Farbrengen, and you were giving, saying Torahs with Bat Tzadikim till 1, and then you came home and you had a Seudah, and it finished at 4:30. It's a winter Shabbos. Mincha was at 4:15. It's okay. L'chovit Shabbat. The Simcha has to be in the right place. על זה כתב שצריך אהבה, אבל שתהיה בשיעור וגבול שהשם יתברך רוצה. וכן ביראה, שייזהר שלא ייכנס לעצבות וייאוש, like you were saying. על ידי היראה שיחשוב שאינו יכול לשוב בתשובה. What could happen with יראה? I'm so into יראה, and I'm being so real about how much I'm in fear of the Rebbeinu Shleilam, that b'shem ha'emes, in the name of truth, I know where I am. I have no chance of being a real yid right now. I have no chance of doing tshuva. I know where I am. I know what I've done. B'shem ha'yira, right? That's the Yetzer Hara talking. Al yedei pituyei ha'yetzer, by means of the seduction of the evil inclination, she'omar la'adam shechata lifnei melech gadol v'nora kazeh, ech yachol lashuv b'tshuva, like Amalek whispering into your ear. You and I both know that even though you're experiencing a momentary frum attack right now, you know where you were yesterday and you know where you're going to be tomorrow. So what like Reb Shlomo once said, like someone that like thinks like this, it's like they're starving. Someone offers them a sandwich and they say, what good is this going to do? I was hungry before. I'm going to be hungry in a few hours. Shmendrik, eat a sandwich. You have some food in front of you. Take what you can right now. The Yetzer Hara comes and tries to tell you, listen, you know where you were. You know where you're going to be. So and that comes in the name of Yira. It's a Yira Nefula. It's not real Yira. The Rebbe speaks about this. It's Yira Nefula. It's fallen Yira. על זה כתב שהיראה צריכה להיות באופן כזה שלא יפחד מלשוב בתשובה. So how do you know that your yira is balanced? Is my yira causing me to fear to do tshuva? The second I smell that, call it out and say, I see you, Esav. Take off the streimel. You're not so holy. If the yira that you come to starts injecting within you thoughts of saying, in the name of truth, right now, who am I to daven? I know what I just did this morning. Call it out. That's mamash the yira. And so too with kilu ahava, love. I'm such a love. How could I love one woman? I have to love, right? We have these sick voices in the world. These what are they called? Universalists? I don't know. Where it's just all hefker, right? Love, and it's not in the name of hatred. It's not in the name of anything. It's in the name of what you think God intended you to love just one person. Like it has the most convincing sound to it. But even the ahava, everything has to be b'shi'ur. B'shi'ur. I have to tell you something heartbreaking. This is mamish heartbreaking. Some guy was arguing with me and a friend this week for a while. Now, the weird thing is that I wasn't even arguing with him because I agreed with every point he was saying. He was saying it like this, and I was like, you don't have to say it like this. You can just say what you're saying. He was talking about Eretz Yisrael and Yishmaelim, and he didn't have to convince me anything. I was, totally with him, but he was saying it with such anger, right? And then in the middle of the conversation, he says to me, Ata musmach? The guy's not religious. He says, Ata musmach? Are you, how do you say that? Are you,
Ordained.
Are you ordained? In the middle of the conversation, are you ordained? I said, yeah. He's like, okay, I have to talk to you. Like he changed his tone completely, right? Like, okay. He's like, lo po. He pulled me out to the side somewhere, and he started. The guy that was so like this started crying. He's saying, God wants us to love, right? That's what it's all about, love, right? Ahavat chinam, and Rabbi Akiva says, "V'afta lecha kamocha ze klal gadol b'Torah," right? The guy says, "It's like, yeah, okay, I could tell you went to, basic cheder or whatever." He says, I have to talk to an ordained person to know what to do with the following. He says, why? He says, he basically opened up to me very deeply about a painful misbalanced love account in his life. Like really messed up. In the name of love. In the name of love, right? And his taina was, isn't that what God wants us to be? People of ahavas chinam? He's like, and he wasn't trying to like justify what he's doing. He really wanted to understand. He's like, I need to understand. Isn't the bottom line ahava? So here we see the Rebbeinu thing. When it comes to all the midot, b'shiurim, always.
The pressure for rise is called chesed.
Right.
Chesed.
Nachon.
My sister.
Right.
Love her, chesed.
Chesed. Also, what's a harlot called half the time in the Torah? It's a kadesha. Yeah, kadesha. It's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. Very sneaky how, like, and the Yetzer Hara comes and says, look what the Torah calls it. Okay, so basically, what is he trying to bring us to? Shabbos is Mekor HaBracha. It's the source of our blessing. Therefore, the Yetzer Hara is going to try to come and do whatever it can to pull you away from being attached to the source of blessing. Remember, the Yetzer Hara is not going to come so much and disattach you from the source of suffix. On the contrary, he's going to madbik you to the source of suffix. He'll stick you there in a second. Okay. And that's why all this avodah we're doing of the Hachana for Shabbat is really for this. Now, in order to make sure we can have help with all this in our minds, to get our minds set with all these things, and this is how he ends this parak. It's very special. Again, going back to his father, who we spoke about, Reb David Shechter. Avi Mori alav hashalom ishkia machshava rabba lechabed et kol haShabbat mibo'o ve'ad tzeito. My father invested a lot of time and thought into how to respect and honor the Shabbos, mibo'o ve'ad tzeito, from the end and going into Shabbos till the end of Shabbos. This is very good, Musa, what he's going to say. Bivgadim na'im v'nekiim, to make sure he has clean and mechubadika clothes. Now, not just going into Shabbos, but how clean is your shirt on Shabbos morning? Huh? It's a taiva also not to take it's an inyan, you can't really, it's not that you can't really, you can't. You can't clean schmutz that goes, you really can't?
A wiping?
That's why you've got a jacket.
Yeah.
That's the only reason why I started
And the
working on
tie.
jacket, right? Tie, right.
I walked into the Chaim in Rechavia 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
A friend of mine's daughter got engaged.
Mazel tov.
Thank you. I walked in. I realized how long I've been in Israel, how disconnected I am. Like Rechavia is almost like a microcosm of the yeshivish world. In America, it depends where everybody's wearing suits and ties. It's a Thursday.
Oh, it was Thursday. I thought you were Shabbos.
Thursday. I walked in. I didn't know where I was. I was like in the twilight zone.
They got dirty Thursday morning. They
It
already.
was wild. Suits and ties. Sorry.
The samach lezeh, fourth line. Samach lezeh.
Right. They're coming to Shabbos so early. Thursday. Wow, it's a whole year.
ושמח לזה שהכל יהיה נקי לכבוד השבת. Everything has to be clean in honor of Shabbos. Kare yesh takanas Ezra. One of the takanas that Ezra HaSofer instituted was what? Lechabes habegadim b'chamishi b'Shabbat. That you meaning, obviously today it's a little bit different, but back then, but you think that they went to Kmart to buy a new white shirt every Thursday. Would it not be like whatever they had? So they did a kibbutz. They started cleaning it already on Thursday. The Gemara brings down Baba Kama and also the Torah Shulchan Aruch Siman Reish Mem Beis. הרי שרצון הבורא הוא שנלבש בשבת קודש בגדים נקיים. What Hashem wants us is to wear clean clothes on Shabbos. וכן המפות וכלי הבית יהיו נקיים. And not just the clothes, everything, the table, the silverware, it all should be clean on Shabbos. יחד עם זה, but together with this, היה טוען תדיר, שלא ייתכן שרק בתחילת השבת יהיה הבית נקי. וכי זמן סעודה שלישית אינו Shabbos קודש? This is, yeah, exactly. Yeah. For the shul too, sometimes I walk, any shul, Baruch Hashem, it's not, we're pretty good because it's just chairs in there, and we don't, and I'm so proud that we've stuck to this. There's no food in the shul, and the shul's for The shul is for, and Baruch Hashem, we have space for it now. But he's saying, wait a second, Shabbos comes by then what? So all of Shabbos, right? לכן היה נזהר שהבית יישאר נקי עד לזמן סעודה שלישית, וכאשר ראה his father. כאשר ראה שבליל שבס קודש לאחר קידוש נשאר מיין הקידוש, והמפה של השולחן עלה להתלכלך, this is before, like, he says, כי אז עדיין לא היו מפות של ניילון. This is pre-nylon days, right? So what is there? The tablecloth. Huh? Yeah, this is before pre-nylon. So what does he have? There's a tablecloth. What's left? Let's say that he wasn't the chiyuv of finishing every drop of wine from Kiddush or other things, and there's some wine left, what could happen? Kid can come and spill. Wait a second, so what do? Haya nigash, what's that?
Kids always spill.
Haya nigash im hayayin shenishar bakos etzel kior hamayim. He would go to the sink with the wine that was left in the cup. Vaya machzir hayayin labakbuk. And he would return, and he would carefully, now I know what your halachic minds are thinking now, right? Huh? Fagum, or what else?
About Tashkent?
Well, no, because he's actually saving it. But what else could be a thing a light bulb that goes on? Did he make kiddush on this wine? Huh? Huh? Not just pagum. No. Did he make kiddush on what else? What else in the house is also considered in this cheska? Zotomeret, we don't even know. The bottle can get mixed up. I have no idea anymore. What's what? No. He says over here, kacha. היה ניגש מים חזיר עין לבקבוק, שלא תתלכלך המפה, וגם לא יהיה חשש של צובע מהיין האדום. So he's going here and he's saying, no, we're relieving ourselves from the suffix of one of the Lameted Melachos over here, that if you're dying at, say this, Islam, Miskaven, whatever, but וכן היה נזהר בכל פרט ופרט, meaning every detail that he looked into, every detail was carefully looked after to make sure that on Shabbos, things remain clean, things remain l'chovet Shabbos. Now, I know sometimes we look at this and wow, what avdus, right? What avdut? What slavery? Shabbos is menucha, I want to be free. A Yid knows that when you act like this, there's no more of a freeing feeling than acting like this, than living like this. ועל כל מכשול שהיה עלול לבוא, היה עושה תיקון למפרע שלא יבוא. He would, how do you say that? He would, תיקון למפרע, like a retroactive fixing, so that I'm careful, and that's why you have to learn the halachas of Shabbos. והיה מעדר בכבוד שבת מבואו ועצתו עד שהיו מרעד.
Retroactively saying he was proactively doing a tikkun to make sure there wouldn't be a...
Right, nachon, sorry. That's the kavanah of what the words is, yeah. Now, ad shayu, so much so that the energy in the house was like this, and alavai, I give us all a bracha that our children grew up in homes like this, or grandchildren, wherever we're holding, or just us. Ad shayu margishim hashraat hashchina b'chol pina upina, that the whole house was Shabbosdik. I have friends, the minhag was, I don't know which Rabbi told them to do this, they dance Shalom Aleichem, not around the table. They go to every room in the house and say Shalom Aleichem. They go to every room, Shalom Aleichem. Who's that? David Sachs, right. Yeah. You go to every room in the house, say Shalom Aleichem.
Why?
Huh?
Why?
Well, here we can understand it based on this. עד שהיו מרגישים השרת השכינה בכל פינה ופינה בבית. זאת אומרת, what's Shabbos? Is Shabbos just the Seudah? Obviously not. The Ikar, of course, is to say Shalom Aleichem by the table. But it's not a halacha to go to every room. It's no chidush here. His Inyan was that I'm saying Shalom Aleichem, I'm bringing Shabbos. Shabbos has to do with everything of the day. I'm not just by the table on Shabbos. I'm also in a bedroom. I'm also in a playroom. I'm also in the den. Depends how large your house is, right? Whatever. And I'm bringing Shabbos to every corner of my house, and that it's clean everywhere. Meaning, but the consciousness of that it's Shabbos is in every place in the house. You ever walk into a room on Shabbos that has nothing to do with Shabbos, so to speak? You have nothing to do with Shabbos. For instance, if you have a room that's just a computer or a television, right? Huh? The office, right? There's no Sfarim in there. And you just happen to wander in there, right? What happens to you?
It's like a different vibe.
It feels weird. It feels odd. It feels wrong. It feels mashu muzar. So some people would even say, there's Like they put tape on
Lights.
on certain light switches. Yeah.
We have a TV in a room. We cover it on Shabbos with like a cloth. So if you're in that room, the TV's
Can.
like.
So maybe some people like they would even close that room. Why is it asur? Is it asur to walk in there? It's not asur to walk in there. But this is our avodah of the bringing the consciousness of Shabbos into every pina of our heart, into every pina of the room, so that it's felt like this. And then when you have this kind of inyan, then it's like really like the karata la Shabbat oneg. Like that's the general picture. The karata la Shabbat oneg. So we should be zoche, Bezrat Hashem, to keep on getting clear indicators of how to make Shabbos for us really, me'ein olam haba. Me'ein olam haba. In olam haba, there's no pounding l'chaim till 4 PM. In olam haba, there's just lehit aneg miziv hashchina, like the Alter Rebbe brings down from the Zohar. So we should be zocheh to connect to that inyan nekuda bechol prat uprat bechayenu. Shakol, good Shabbos.